Hello and welcome to this Dawn Buster called Taste Challenge. It's not really dawn, it's more like nighttime, but dawn is, late this time of year because of daylight savings time. And I'm not going to go on another rant about that. I have two bourbon whiskeys and I'll show them to you. This is ancient age Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, carefully distilled along the banks of the Kentucky River, according to the finest traditions. 90 proof. This is from Buffalo Trace, but they don't list it on the website. They only show the regular ancient age. Now, there used to be a Sazerac website called Great Bourbons or greatbourbon.com, but they deleted their website. They've been taking down a lot of their websites, like Canadian Mist was up for a long time, but it's gone. So I don't know what their thinking is. I guess they feel like not enough people are looking at them, and probably doesn't help the sales or hurt the sales. It doesn't affect the sales. I guess that's their thinking. I don't know. That's position. Aged and bottled, distilled, aged, and bottled by Ancient Age Distilling Company. No such company. It's Buffalo Trace. Well, actually, at one time it was called Ancient Age Distillery, but then it got bought by a company called Shinley, and it was Shinley Distilling. It's Shinley Industries Distilling, and there's a Shinley Distillery, I think, in Canada today. It used to be a big company, but it went bye-bye. But then when Sazerac bought the distillery, they changed the name in 1992 to Buffalo Trace, which I guess they felt sounded better than Shinley Industries Distillery. And plus, it wasn't owned by the people anymore, so there was no reason to call it that. All right. This is the gold label. Now, if you get regular Ancient Age, it's a cream-colored label. And you're probably familiar with Ancient Age. That's the bottle. They've always had this bottle design as long as I could tell. Why do they call it Ancient Age? And they got that old English-looking A. Well, back in the 1930s, I did research, me, always reading about, the competitor Jeppson's, introduced in 2020, non-chill filtered, 4-year age. It's a 4-year age blend of straight bourbons, which can have coloring and flavoring added, I might add, from Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. It's blended and bottled in Chicago, Illinois by CH Distillery. And it's 21, it's a 75% corn. Bourbon has to be mostly corn. 21% rye and 4% malted barley whiskey. So I don't know how they keep that ratio with three different states where it's coming from, but they do. Okay, so it's not a straight bourbon. A straight bourbon has to be made all in one. It has to be whiskeys from all the same state. Doesn't have to be all the same whiskey, but it has to be from the same state, which in this case is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. But that's okay. They just use a different type. It's just a different type of whiskey called a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. Okay, that's allowed. There's also a type of whiskey called bourbon whiskey, a blend or blended bourbon whiskey, which you will find sometimes. All right. Like I was saying back, and I don't think I have enough left for any more reviews. I think this is the end of the road. Well, maybe two taste challenges, but it's getting close. I bought this in Meridian, Mississippi. It was like $13.99, cheap price. But regular Ancient Age you can find for $9.99. True story. Sometimes you can find a whole liter bottle for like $11.99. Back in the 1930s, Seagram's, you might have heard of Seagram's Distilling. They were the biggest liquor company in the world until 2000. Oh yeah, this is gone. That's it. Oba. The story has ended. The only time I ever saw this whiskey was at that liquor store, Bonita Liquors, in Meridian, Mississippi, right off Interstate 59. That's it. The only time I ever saw it. Never saw it again. And the actual highway it's off of is Mississippi State Highway 19. But it's easy to find. Bonita Liquors. You just take that exit where it says 19 South. And as soon as you get off, you're going to see a light. You can take a left there at that stoplight. and go into that strip mall where Bonita Plaza Liquors is. It's called Bonita Plaza, the strip mall, but it's Bonita Liquors. Okay, this glass has fingerprints all over it from my hand. My hands are breezy, I guess. Oh no, it's not coming off. All right, anyway, let me go try to rinse that off. That was yucky. Would I buy this again if I saw it? I might. Um, but there was Seagram's had a product called Ancient Bottle Gin. Gin, Gin, gin. Ancient Bottle Gin. And it looked like a basket weave bottle. It was glass, but it looked like it was wheat straw, like a basket weave, like an Easter basket. Ancient Bottle Gin. And it had that same A, that old English red A, ancient, and then bottle with the B. And they still make the bottle design. If you ever look at Seagram's Gin or Seagram's Distillers Reserve Gin, it's got that bottle. It looks like a weaved bottle. But that's where that comes from. At one time, they called it Ancient Bottle Gin. At some time later, they might have changed the recipe or reformulated, or what? They just decided to drop the name. They just started calling it Seagram's London Dry Gin. Did they call it London Dry or just Extra Dry? Seagram's Extra Dry, right? All right, that's off the subject. But anyway, it wasn't long after that, because we know Prohibition ended in 1933, so it couldn't have been long after. In 1936, all of a sudden, this bourbon appears called Ancient Age, with that same font, that same English style A, and another A, Ancient Age. And I said to myself, I see what they were doing. They were trying to mimic Ancient Bottle Gin. Probably didn't fool anybody. I'm not aware that they got a lawsuit against them by Seagram. Seagram probably didn't care, because it was like, who cares? You're always going to have people trying to copy, like the bottle. Like, look at the bottle. It's trying to copy a Jack Daniels bottle. So these companies do that. That's why Jack Daniels keeps changing their bottle design, because they're trying to stay ahead of the mimickers. They went to the sharp edges on the corners. So there it is. And it was a company called Ancient Age Distilling. And then it was called Blanton's Distilling. And then that they sold out. They kept changing hands. It kept changing hands. Buffalo Trace Distillery is old, but it kept changing hands in that. And then it was Shenley, and then in 1992 it became Buffalo Trace. Okay, but it's actually owned by Sazerac, the Sazerac Company of New Orleans, Louisiana, about 32 miles from where I live, their headquarters. Okay, but that's the story on that. Now, Sazerac, if you get on their website, buffalotrace.com, it'll say that Ancient Age came out in 1946. And I was like, no, it's not 46. I even wrote him an email. It's not 46. It's 36. And the lady, it was a woman, I can't remember her name. She says, well, do you have any kind of documentation to back that up? I said, yes, I do. And I didn't say I heard it from somebody or I know a guy. I sent files of old newspaper ads from 1936 or 37. 36, saying, might have been 37, but saying Ancient Age, this new exciting bourbon, whatever, they brag, all advertisements do that. I said, well, either somebody went in a time machine and printed this, or you got the wrong date. And then I found the U.S. Trademark Office data, Ancient Age, first used in commerce, the trademark, 1936. I said, that's pretty strong evidence. They're not going to get a trademark on a product and wait 10 years to put it out. This is not going to happen. All right. So she was like, okay, we're going to look into it. Well, they didn't look into it because it never changed. And that was ironclad proof. And it was more than just one ad. I found like 2, 3 ads. Okay. But go ahead. Let everybody say it's 1946. Doesn't make any difference to me. Uh, but when but sometimes companies will listen to you because like Anheuser-Busch for years on their website they were saying Bud Ice. You know, you've heard of Bud Ice. They kept saying out 1984. I was like, nah. They didn't even have ice beer on the market till 93, so you know that's wrong. So I got all kind of information, including an Anheuser-Busch brochure. And I told her, I says, 80, it's not 84, it's 94, and then the trademark data and all that. They said, oh, we have all those brochures. You know, of course, they keep them backlog of those. Okay, we're going to look into it. And then she responded. She said, it was a lady also. Oh, yeah. She said, yeah, it's a mistake. We'll check into that. And they changed it. They fixed the error. They did the same thing with one of the Bud Light Cheladas. This was last year. Chelada. It said the wrong thing. It was spelled wrong. That's what it was. They had it spelled wrong. I said, I'm just letting you know. I said, I'm just letting you know you have it spelled incorrectly on your website. And they're like, thanks for the information. And in less than 24 hours, it was changed. Okay, so they listen. These guys, they don't want to listen. All right. Craft Beer Tastic says, it's about that time of year for some Paulaner Oktoberfest. Love that shirt. Oh, yeah. Paulaner Oktoberfest beer. I haven't seen the Fest beer this year, though, for some reason. You know, it's the yellow fizzy stuff. That's 6%. That's so yum, yum. Yum, yum. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, it's good. Munich lager. Okay, but of course, I've seen the Marzen. That's so common in the United States. Here's the website listing for Jeppson's. I can't show you one for Ancient Age because it doesn't exist. Okay, there's but Ancient Age does. Jeppson's bourbon, a rock solid bourbon. I'll go along with that. Well, I would call it a solid bourbon. It's good. It's a little clunky. It's kind of like you could tell that this company hasn't been dealing with bourbon but for only 4 years because it's just something clunky about it. I can't even describe it. But when you taste it, you could tell, you know, but it's good. There's the 100 proof. Then they have a 90 proof. Those, like it says, who want something with less heat, like me. I wish I had the 90 proof, but I don't. David gave me this bottle. Thank you, David. He got it for half price. It's $29.99 a Total Wine and More right now. And Rouse's. He got the bottle for $15, if you can believe it, but it's the truth. He wouldn't have given it to me otherwise. He wasn't going to pay $8 to give me. All right, so then you can get this cask strength and barrel finish, sherry, cognac, or port barrels or cask. But you probably have to special order those. So that's the story there. Their main thing is Malort. If you look on the website, they really promote the Malort because that's their flagship product. I've never tried it, but Rouse's does sell it. And I think Total Wine and More sell. But I'm not interested in trying all these little oddball wormwood products. I have no interest in absinthe. People are telling me it doesn't make you go crazy. That was a myth, that it causes hallucinations. It's a myth. I said, okay, well, I'm still not interested in it. But it's funny because this guy that used to do, hang on, look how cloudy this is. I'll tell you, if you get a Sazerac product, they're always cloudy when you get down to the bottom of the bottle. And sometimes they almost like they have chunks of wood in them. But so I don't think Sazerac chill filters their products because they say that's the thing with when you don't chill filter, it'll get cloudy, non-chill filtering. That's why George Dickel claims it's better to chill filter because of course they pioneered it. They're not going to down their own invention. You know, they're the ones that came up with it. You know, if you get on George Dickel website, they're like, we pioneered chill filtering. It's so much better. You know, some bourbon people say yes, most say no. My answer is I don't know. I have never really noticed any difference in the flavor, but I'm not an expert by any chance. I just taste stuff. But I'll tell you, Sazerac, and I don't notice that with Heaven Hill. I don't notice that with Brown-Forman. I just notice Sazeracs, usually they'll get cloudy. On the other hand, usually people will tout that it's non-chill filtered, and they don't ever say that on their bottles. Oh, a couple of more bits of information. I can't look down because I know that if I see that haze craze, if I see that copper haze, I'm gonna know what it is. Um, there is a black bottle ancient age. You might go to a store and see a black label ancient age, but it's blended whiskey. It's called ancient age blended whiskey. I didn't like it too much. I didn't hate it. At first, I liked it. When I first tasted it, I was like, this is good. But like, it's one of those things where the more you sip on it, it's like, I ain't going to miss it when it's gone. And they tried selling it around here. I bought it at a place called BenQ, but in Baton Rouge. But they tried selling that ancient age blended, but when Dixie had it, but it didn't last. I guess nobody bought it, just didn't sell. That's the thing about it. If it doesn't sell, it ain't going to stay on the shelf. That's my experience. Okay, here we go. Oh, a lot of people said this doesn't have an age statement on it, but it does. It's at the top on the bottleneck. I've watched so many videos where the people say there's no age statement, and I tell them I'm watching the video, talking to the video. Obviously it's recorded. They can't hear me, but I'm like, look at the neck. Look at the neck. It says age 3 years. Now, are there different ancient ages? I think so. Ancient age 10 stars, not age 10 years. But the old website where they used to have it referred to a 6-year age. Sazerac is an unusual company, so there might be concurrently a 3-year age everywhere or that you can find, but then there might be a 6-year age roaming around. I know Buffalo Trace is aged about 6 years because they told me on the phone. Buffalo Trace is aged about 6 years. Sazerac Rye is aged about 6 years, not specifically 6, but about. And at Jack Daniels, they said they don't put an age statement on the bottle because you got to pay extra for it. Extra tax if it's an age stated. That sounds preposterous, but that's what the man told me at the distillery. And he said that he'd been working there since he was 18. So, I mean, that's part of the tour. They don't just, well, they might make up stuff, but seem plausible. And Sazerac likes to keep the cost low generally, so just want to keep it. Even Buffalo, even Eagle Rare, you could find bottles. If you find a bottle, you might find it for $32, $35. And people would be hunting that thing down. Well, that's age 10 years. Okay. But it does have age date. All right. That's the two bourbons I hear people looking for the most. I go in a store, I hear people saying, y'all got Buffalo Trace? Well, they don't ask anymore because it's on the shelf all the time now. Ever since the scamdemic went away. It's been appearing. They got it at Mathern's just sitting down in the display. $24.99. Price never went up. $24.99. Eagle Rare still, if you're paying over 40, I think you're making a big mistake. Not much aroma here. This one has more aroma, but I don't know what it is. Some kind of bourbon. You know what I'm saying? It's just corn, corn grits. All right. Taste time. Cheers. These are both going to be strong, 90 and 100. Full flavor. Corn, a lot of oak. I mean, a whole lot of oak. I'm thinking that's got to be the ancient age because it's almost like there's oak in it, like there's refuse from the barrel, and that's why it gets cloudy because it as you sit that bottle in your house and it just settles, like all of it goes to the bottom. I think that's what it, because you get these Sazerac bourbons at the end of the bottle, the last couple of pours. Some of them will taste like just straight wood. Am I supposed to be eating wood? All right. It's good though. Vanilla, honeysuckle nectar, yellow corn grits. You can get yellow corn grits. I've never bought them. I saw some yesterday at the store. Maybe I'll buy them next time. Somebody gave me 2 bags of grits, so they were white hominy, white corn. I'm still eating on that. Okay. Somebody said grits must be hard to prepare for breakfast. No, they're not. Take a 1/4 scoop of grits, pour it in the bowl, then 3 cups of water. That's the other 3/4 of a cup. So it's 1 cup total, 3 parts water, 1 part grits. Put some salt. I use the McCormick seasonal because it's got salt and other seasons in it. You don't put a lot. Then some black pepper. I do put a little hot sauce. And I usually dice some onions and some jalapeno, give it more flavor. And then you could put some cheese in it after. I put it in the microwave oven for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 4 minutes won't be fully cooked. 5 minutes, it's all fluffed up. The water's gone or mostly gone. Once you stir it up, it'll absorb the water. I add the cheese a little bit, and it'll melt in there and eat it. Okay, just like you would with oatmeal or cream of wheat type of thing. Wheat, oats, corn, they all make good hot cereal. Okay. And the Little Rascals had that kid, farina. And that's a type of wheat. Farina. Okay, this is stronger in the flavor, and I'm not getting all that wood attack. Getting wood. Oh, yeah. But it's not like overpowering. This is dust, wood dust, sawdust. It's good though. Would I recommend Ancient Age? Yes, I would. It's an A product. It scores an A. Most excellent. Even the Jeppson's does in its own unusual way. Obviously, Buffalo Trace been around a long, long time, so they got it down. They'll just make any kind of whiskey and do a great job. Their cheapest whiskeys are good, and I've had Pappy Van Winkle. Somebody gave me a sample bottle of 2 different types. Great stuff. I'm not paying that exorbitant price. But even their low shelf bourbons are good. Benchmark, just a basic benchmark, 3-year aged, 80 proof is good. Now it used to be, I think it was, used to be 6-year aged and 86 proof when Seagram's had it. But they sold it to Sazerac, and Sazerac does do that. They'll cheapen the product and cheapen the price, which increases the volume. They just turn into an economy brand. Benchmark. Then they even changed the name. McAfee's old number 8 Benchmark. Yeah, buddy. Different bottle now. Seagram's had a fancy bottle. It's classy, it was trying to make it like a premium brand bourbon. But Sazerac was like, nope, going to economy class bourbon. And they just put it in the Ancient Age bottle. But all that being said, still pretty good. It is really good, actually. It's basic, 80 proof, 3-year aged, which is longer than it has to be. It only has to be 2 years to be straight bourbon. But it gets good reviews mostly. Ancient Age, I'm talking about their really low shelf. They're good. Now, some of them are really low shelf. I mean, they're like, you can't get any lower. Like Kentucky Tavern, 10 High. For instance, those are bourbon with natural flavors. You say, why would they want to add flavor into it? Don't ask me. The man on the phone at Buffalo Trace told me, I think they're doing it. He doesn't even know. He works. He said, to me, I think they're doing it to smooth it out. Oh, no, he didn't say that. He said, they do it to smooth them out. Meaning, I guess they're so cheap that if you tasted it without the flavor, it might be kind of rough, kind of, oh, wow, that's harsh. And so they figure people that's paying $7.99 for a bottle of bourbon ain't going to care, You say, oh, I get it. I see who they're targeting. Yeah, well, yeah, But anyway, he said, but I don't know what the flavoring is. He said, but to me, it tastes like it's vanilla. But he said, they don't tell us what it is. It's a secret recipe, so we don't know. He said, but to me, if I had to guess, I would say it's vanilla. But he said, but I'm not saying that officially because I don't know. He said, it's just me surmising, guessing. Seems right, though, because it really, any of those, you taste them, it's like, tastes like vanilla. All right, Ancient Age. I'm calling it, and I think it's a slight winner, which means it's definitely a winner because it's way cheaper. $13.99 versus $29.99. Yeah, I guess I'd rather pay $13.99, and plus I'm getting a slightly better product. Sorry, Jeppson's, but Jeppson's is good, but I don't know about $29.99. Got it right. Okay. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. Tomorrow on Wednesday morning, unless I do it today instead of in lieu of Wednesday. You know, sometimes I'll jump ahead and just skip a Wednesday. But because we do the theme night on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, by the way, is any Oktoberfest beer. But I have another Buffalo Trace product coming up for tomorrow. But it's only sold at a pharmacy chain. It's a private label, but it's made by Buffalo Trace. It's the same exact bottle, different label, 80 proof, age at least 4 years. So it's strange that it would be such a cut rate product, you know, so cut rate. And I've seen it. It just went up to $9.99 over the summer. It was $8.99 for the longest time. And then they finally went up to $9.99. But until the summer, midsummer, it was $8.99, and it was Kentucky straight bourbon. And it was aged at least 4 years. Amazing that they could go so low and still have quality. Now, is it an exciting bourbon? No. Is it bland? Pretty much. Is it nasty? Not in any way. But most people don't live in a state where pharmacies can sell alcohol. But I do. And in Louisiana, you can go to the pharmacy, you know, think of any pharmacy chain, and buy alcohol. Liquor. I'm serious. We used to have a pharmacy chain called Katz and Bestoff. They got bought by Rite Aid, and then Rite Aid, hadn't they filed for bankruptcy? But they got rid of all their stores in Louisiana. But for a long time, Rite Aid, but Katz and Bestoff had their own private labels. And yes, it was called Katz and Bestoff. So they had Katz and Bestoff bourbon, K&B vodka, K&B gin, etc. Now, when they said Katz and Bestoff sold out, the old man, he was really old. I guess his family didn't want it, or maybe Rite Aid made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He finally sold it. I mean, this guy was in his 90s, I think, or late 80s. He sold it, and I said, "Oh, I've got to go get one of their brand. They have their own ice cream too. I don't know who made it, probably Breyers or something." But I said, "I got to go to Katz and Bestoff and get a bottle of liquor before they close or convert," because I know Rite Aid. Well, I didn't think Rite Aid had their own private label. They may have. I never checked. I didn't think about it. This was 1998. I wasn't even drinking liquor then. So I went to Katz and Bestoff and I bought a half-size bottle of their vodka. I said something simple. Wanted that label on there, you know, K&B. And I still have that bottle. Saved it as a collectible. And they had their own beer, K&B beer, Katz and Bestoff. I know who made that. That was made by Falstaff. Well, at least until Falstaff closed down. In 1979, the New Orleans brewery closed down. Well, they did have a Falstaff brewery still open until 1997. I don't know where it was. I know the one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, closed down in 1990. Somebody recorded the last days of the brewery. It's on YouTube now. He recorded that on an old VHS camera. Could have been Betamax, but that takes about an hour to watch it. But it's really a great video. It shows how antiquated that brewery was. Everything was done by hand, like really by hand. And I don't know who made K&B beer after that. Probably Stroh's Schlitz Brewery in Tennessee, most likely, or Pearl Brewing in San Antonio, which is still owned by Pabst, but it's shut down now. They keep talking about reopening it. We're going to reopen it. They're never going to, you know. They'll probably sell it before they reopen it. Jeppson's good stuff, but a little bit too much candy corn tasting, but it's good. Wouldn't pay 29.99 though. All right. So thank you and see you later for another taste challenge. And when I close out bourbon in a couple of days, then it's on to American blended whiskey. And I have a very unusual American blended whiskey. It's about as obscure as it gets.